Well, we would like to welcome every one of you here at church this morning. How many's glad to be in church? All right, good, good. I'm glad to be here. Good job, Shayla. Thank you very much. That was awesome to see our young people and our kids helping out in our service this morning. Josh and Shane taking up the offering, and Jake praying, and then Shayla playing for the offering. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, let's all get our hymn books. Let's all stand up as Sister Amy comes and leads us in our singing. Let's sing loud.
Come and dine, Master Olive, come and dine. We may feast at Jesus' table all the time. He who fed the multitude, turned the water into wine. To the hungry calleth now, come and dine.
When I got a phone call, I was actually at the house, at Mom and Daddy's house. Mark and Mandy and Debbie and I are all sitting around. And I got a phone call from, well, Mark has got a phone call from, I guess it was Pop. And they said, we're at the hospital with Jacob, and he's got leukemia. And I remember that moment that we hit our knees right then, and we started praying and asking God to come and help us. We prayed for mercy. Now there's another moment that I remember, and it just happened this past year. I was at work, and I got a text message, and I got a call from my mama, and she said, Marcus, hit his head. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what the problem is. We don't know what the future holds. And I remember where I was at that day. And you know, some things stick in our minds, and we didn't ever know on that day what would follow. We didn't know, but we left it in God's hands. Now this morning, Mark's Mandy has no clue what I'm doing. And this wasn't really my idea even. I know you don't believe that, but it wasn't me. They come up with this. I got a call earlier this week. And he said, hey, I want to do something for the pastor. And I said, what you got in mind? And he started explaining it to me. And I said, well, it sounds good. I said, how do you want to go about it? And he explained everything he wanted done. And I said, well, let's do it then. So Nathan has volunteered this morning to sing a song for us. October is Pastor Appreciation Month. That's our time of the year to show our pastor that we love him, that we care, that we're blessed to have him as our pastor. And you know, we've been through a hard time this year. This has been a difficult year for everybody. But you know, Mark's and Mandy's waiting, and God's helped them, and he's doing good this morning. So this morning, Nathan's going to sing a song that he picked out for Mark's and Mandy this morning. So listen as him and Kim sings.
I've had many tears of sorrow. I've had questions for tomorrow. There's been times I didn't know right from wrong. But in every situation, God gave blessed consolation, and my triumphs only make me strong. And through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to trust in God. Through it all, I've learned to depend on His word.
And I thought, you know, I don't know everybody's problems. We all have problems. I got my problems, you got your problems. You have your struggles. I don't know what you struggle with in your private life. I don't know how the devil fights you, but I know this. If you get nothing else out of the sermon this morning, get this. The answer to all of life's problems is Jesus.
Sure.
You know, you see a little bumper sticker. People have the bumper sticker that says Jesus is the answer. Well, He is. He is. He is the answer to every problem. That promise he gave us in Matthew chapter 5, all these promises, they're the answer to life. And in verse 6, he said, if you're hungry, he will fill you. His promise is that there is a better life than what the world offers. Jesus said later on in the sermon in chapter 6, in Matthew chapter 6, verse 33, that, but seek ye first the kingdom of God, and then all of these things will be added unto you. God has a way of life that is far better than anything the world can give us. All these people that are out there searching, that are hurting, and so many of them that have taken their lives, and we haven't got to. That's why we need to get out there and tell the world that Jesus is the answer. There's a lot of people that give up, and they end it all before we can get to them and tell them. But we need to. We need to let the world know God has a way of life that's better than anything this world can. They kept God's commandments. Later on in Matthew chapter 5, Jesus tells the people that their righteousness must exceed the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees. Now, for those people that were listening to this sermon, they were probably in shock because the scribes and the Pharisees were considered to be the most righteous of the people because they lived by every letter of the law. But Jesus said, be more righteous than them. Did that mean Jesus was telling them to have more laws and more regulations? More rules? No. He wasn't telling them that. Jesus was telling them that righteousness is more than laws. Righteousness is something in the heart that transforms who you are. And it transforms how you live. The truth is this morning, you can have all the rules down pat, you can dress just right, you can say all the right words, you can play the part, but what matters is the heart. Righteousness, it starts in the heart and works its way outward, not the other way around. And that's why Jesus told them your righteousness should exceed that of the scribes and the Pharisees. They were the church people. But their righteousness started on the outside. And Jesus was saying that's not how it works. You need to get it right in your heart and then let God have His way in your life and make you into what He wants you to be. Does that mean you need to throw all the rules away? No. No. That's not what Jesus was saying. If you read the rest of the sermon and the rest of the Bible, you find out there are rules. There are guidelines. But they don't make you righteous. They are fruits of a righteous heart.
That's right.
So when somebody comes up and wants to criticize the rules and regulations, you know, you don't have to throw them all away. There's a lot of people that want to, but you don't have to. They're simply fruits. They're not going to get you to heaven. They're not going to make you holy. They're not going to make you righteous. But if you got your heart right, then your life will produce righteous fruit. Have no other gods before me. What does that mean? Put your focus on God. Live for Him. Don't get your eyes on this world, the distractions of this world, but make sure you keep focused on God. To sum it up, you would say God created you to fill you with Himself. He created you to live by His standards. Why? Because He created us to bless us. He created us to bless us. Jesus said, blessed are those who hunger and thirst. Do you want to live a blessed life? Seek God. Take the time to seek God. Pursue Him. Don't let everything else in life choke it out. Because it will. There's no doubt about it. It will. Pursue God. He created you to bless you. The question is, are we willing to do what it takes to receive the blessing?